Hello, and I have a solve Leetcode number 91, decode ways. Basically, question is on my numbers. If you're my numbers, maybe are 12, right? Now a code, we say a code, like you have to decode it. But code, no, decode a number for code, 1 is equal to A, 2 is equal to B, 25 equals to Y, 26 into match channel like right? If you notice a zero name, right? Into for not to actually, because we will deal with that into zero. We code your mouth zero, it means you can't decode it, but you can't decode it only when the zero is the first number over here, right? So zero in the first number, now you can't decode it. Because there's nothing you can do about zero. All you have to do is just return zero. But in fact, it's only 12 without the zero, right? My 12 without the zero. 12, it can be decoded as A and B. It can also be decoded as L, which means that there are two ways to decode A and B. 1, 2, right? I'm going to my baby to say 266, right? 266 no. Inverse 226, 226 no, a BB, right? BBF, because we B in a way. At the same time, 22, right? A V, right? And a 60F, integrate my VF. At the same time, 26, A Z, and a 2 A B, integrate my B Z, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 ways to decode this, right? Okay. Into your fan say inform me array, right? So my empty string which means empty string numbers number minus is in the form of a string and your integers a string, right? Your fan say the basic case grand is my is an empty string. There is only one possible way to decode an empty string, which means nothing. An empty string, will give you nothing. There's nothing to decode, so there's only one way, right? In the event say, let's design like a memo, like DP. In empty string will be 0. There's only one way. But so my empty string, no mine is something like ABR 1, right? There's only one way to decode it, 1 by A. And I say 1 by to my AB, right? So right. So this is how obey to me a decode way. This is the base case, right? Way I say for your base case scenario. Now we also have to know say we can only decode numbers, especially single numbers now. Can only decode single numbers now between 1 and 9, right? Double numbers now, so we can only decode double numbers between 1 and 26. Now, what's your question where at some point we are considering the 2. If you also consider 1, because you want to determine all the possible scenarios will be to make the code way. Into code must take into consideration how many ways can we decode this, right? Into how many ways we to make the code way 1. Okay, now the ways to count 1. Let's see to make the code. I see assign the 1 account here, right? Assign the value of this one account, because how many ways can we decode the first one? 1. It means up to this point there's only one way to decode. But I say we do another way in to make the coding with one way. Assign the ways to decode and about account. Basically, the mathematical formula for say be decoding at point I, any point I, right? Where it has been mathematically proven, right? So if you perceive finding DP at I, it will be equal to DP I minus 1, and if you PC equal to dp plus Python plus dpi plus 1 and also by dp plus dpi at 2, right? Because here PC decode 2 now. It's up to this point, up to this point it will be a combination of way plus way and 6 say near 6 here. Way a PC calculate the number of ways you can decode up to this, where the number of ways you can decode this one plus the number of ways you can decode this one. Ni na ba be boom na ba be my value of 3, right? Indeed, let's go. This is more mathematical, more technical solution way, but also one point that you have to note in this 0 name. It is a digit be started with 0. There is no way to decode it. Just all return 0. What else should I point out? Yeah, I think so. And those are the main things. And also know the formula and say would calculate a DPI, right? And also so we'll person calculate the number of ways you can decode 2 digits. That digit must fall between 10 to 26. You should also know how you get substrings of string, right? Like x to t. Remember a portion between 1 to x to t if they are numbers, right? So let's go and see how we can write the code for this. Okay, so first of all, one of the cases, edge cases that we have to consider is if not s and a string and I say so s in a string and I say the first digit of s is equal to 0, string 0, we just return 0, right? And will be the length of s. And then let's create memo, which is equal to 0 times n plus 1, right? Memo at 0 is 1, empty string. Memo at 1 is when it's only 1, the first digit, and also there's only one way to decode that. And for I in range n plus 1, if actually because they describe 1 and 2 already now, I'll say we started from 2, right? If s I minus 1 is not equal to 0, like I said, if it's not a value of 0, then memo at I equal to I minus 1. Okay, so 2 digits. Now we come to find the number of ways we can determine, we can decode 2 digits, right? So I find the first one, I find it, I and I see I find the second one. And that one will be an integer at s, I minus 2 to I, right? So if the 2 digits is between 10 and 26, then memo at I is equal to then we have to return all right. Let's see. Invalid syntax. Okay, so we're a string. It should be a string. It should not be an integer because input parameters normally they are all in strings. So it has to be equal to. And I say another thing that I can do is convert this to a string. Also, there is a dot here that I didn't have to be there. I can make it an integer and then make this an integer too, right? But already in mine is string, so we just put a string, and that's what it's saying here. But I think it's pointing more to the syntax. Let's see. Oh, so what is wrong with this one then? So say none is not. Oh, return 0. So if you see error be here, none is not a valid value for the expected return type. It means that you are returning none at some point in your response. And now here I say now I just corrected it. I was just returning none. But if as first first digit in A is 0, it returns 0 because there's no way to decode 0 and decode and see. Okay, and so any string as well, you just return 0 because you can't decode it. So now everything is all right and it's all correct. All right, thank you very much.